Hi, Chris here. I just wanted to add this part in the beginning because I want to warn you that this is about a 30-minute video, but it's really important. So if you're in a rush and you don't have that kind of time, then hit pause. You can come back to it later and watch it when you have about 30 minutes to watch. Thank you. Hello, my name is Christopher Whitson. I'm one of the co-founders of Bombita Farms and the Farm to You grocery store concept. I'm filming this here on our farm because it's kind of quite apropos because this is where it all started. We're in a shade tunnel right now that's not done or been planted or finished yet. The tunnel next to me that has the greens in it is where we've been pulling a lot of the lettuce and stuff that's been going in the stores the last several weeks. This video serves as Bombita Farms' one unified message concerning Farm to You. It's been something that we've been thinking about and putting together for months, probably 6 months or more, trying to figure out a way to have one cohesive message that we can give to anyone involved with Farm to You, whether it's a customer, a vendor, farmer, service supplier, landlord, anybody. Because while what we do on the surface seems simple, in the background it's not. But then some of the solutions are really simple. So it's complicated, but not complicated at the same time. And so now we're finally able to put this video together so that you understand what is going on, because it's become clear over the years that we don't always do a great job of keeping people informed of what's going on. And in the background, part of that is just the lack of knowledge of what it takes to build something different and big, like our big vision that we have for Farm to You. It's not just one store, one little thing. So it's really important that you watch this whole video. It doesn't matter if we get to a part that maybe you don't think is for you. You want to watch the whole thing to the end because it's really important, and you'll probably learn a lot about why we make decisions we make, why some things are always changing and some things aren't. So this video applies to vendors and any stakeholders for the past, present, and future, because we're not just trying to build a one-time thing. This is not a pet project for us. It doesn't revolve around us. We specifically design things to build a system. So we're at a point now where we know what needs to be done to build the system we've been working towards for years, trying to get out what's been in our heads since 2020 when we first came here. So it's important to watch the whole thing so you don't miss anything important. First off, we have to make something really, really clear, because there's lots of misinformation out there, or, you know, it's not something that we talk about a lot because we always try to put forward on like social media and advertising and whatnot, a unified, beautiful front. We're trying not to be negative, and we don't want people to support us because it's a pity party or they feel bad. We want people to be a part of Farm to You because it provides them with some sort of benefit. And when we talk about these things, we've designed them from the ground up to be part of that benefit. So the Whitson family is not supposed to be subsidizing the local food system. It's amazing that people say things, you know, that really don't make sense in the real world. Like paying farmers is something that comes up a lot. It's like, we don't pay the farmers, the customers pay the farmers. They come in, they give us money, we turn around and give it to the farmers. The more customers there are, the easier that is. The less customers there are, the harder that is. And yet somehow people think that we're like leading people, you know, like we have control over when people come in, and we'll get to that, how we've kind of solved that problem. Our job was to build and design a great system. Which we've done. We've succeeded. It works. The stores can be profitable. They can benefit farmers. They can be convenient for customers. They can create good jobs for the people who work here. We've done it. We know it. This is our expertise. This is what we've been working towards for years. And so we've gathered data on what works and what doesn't. And what we've built is really beautiful, kind of in its simplicity. You know, I was talking earlier about some parts of it are complicated, but then some of it really dissolved down into a simple idea. And so the farm to you stores is really a simple idea because everyone understands a grocery store and everyone understands how that works. Now the back end and some of the behavior inside the store is different, but on its core, it's just a grocery store, but it kind of works like a farmer's market as well. And so in the beginning, that's what we did. We were, we took out lots of loans and lots of personal debt and worked side jobs, and Yana kept her job at the law firm for years to sustain this place. And so we have been subsidizing everyone's local food. Anytime stuff didn't sell in the stores, we were there paying farmers out of money that didn't come in through the door. That was us subsidizing it. But we're not supposed to do that. Any insinuation that we are is just ludicrous, because I would invite anyone else to just step up and pay for everyone's groceries. Please join in. I would love to have help in that regard, but we don't. We would get loans, we would put things on credit cards, and then we'd get other loans to pay off those credit cards. And we tell the staff, it feels like this thing has failed almost 14 times, and we've always resurrected it and kept it going. And from the outside to the customers, they think we're doing fantastic because they see these beautiful, clean stores with stuff and the mileage and the friendly, smiling staff, and they're like, hey, they must be killing it. And in the background, we aren't. But no one's going to shop at a store where you're just talking about how hard it is all the time. So we took on those losses to show people that it does work. And so that's how we know it works. There are months where we are profitable, we make money, but even though we had done the hard part of figuring it all out, there were two missing pieces that forced us to take drastic changes and implement kind of what you see today. And I'm filming this in May 2026. The first half of 2025 was amazing. We broke sales records, we won some awards, we were on the news. And then the second half, the economy started to rear its head, and the customers didn't show up in the way that they said they would. Because in those big, busy months where we were profitable on our P&Ls, and then we turn around and buy more foods, and all the farmers were getting paid, they were happy with that part. But then people weren't happy with the part that came right after that, which we have no control over. And so we had members dropping off because they said they had to make budget decisions, and we were it. People would come in and say, oh, we love this store, it looks great, we're going to support you guys. But the sales didn't reflect that. Those thousands of people didn't always show up every month. And so in the winter, when our sales were down 60%, we knew we had to make drastic changes because we had customer consistency from a majority of our customers was not happening, not showing up enough, and only buying one or two things. And as a grocery store, you need volume. And then on the farmer side, the dedication outside of the store by way too many was either non-existent or lacking. Selling lots of other places. No push for farm to you out there, because we have a lot of vendors who sell at lots of places, which is fine. But outside of farm to you, they don't mention farm to you. Some of them are very good at it, by the way. We have some farmers that are just phenomenal at pushing farm to you. We have some farmers that just will not sell anywhere else because this is easier. We built a great system. They love it. They don't want to deal with markets and having to coordinate schedules with customers showing up at their houses or their farms, and they want this to go, and they're all in 100% with farm to you, inside and outside the stores. Those people weren't the problem. So farm to you was not designed to benefit any single farmer or customer. Our goal from day one was building the best system. And that's a key word that everyone needs to remember, system, because we've all been to that market, if you're a farmer, where there are a few people that get treated differently than other people. And we don't do that. Everyone's on an even playing field at Farm to You. And so we're not building Farm to You to benefit our family or our farm or that customer or that vendor or that landlord. We're trying to build this system, the thing that's sustainable. The second I leave this earth, it will still work. And so that's what we design. A great working system does its job no matter who is participating. And so we put methods in place now in 2026 so that customers and farmers benefit from what has been built. And recent and future changes are also in place to keep those who took advantage of us from doing so again. So we wish we would have done what we're doing now 2 years ago. We'd be in much better shape financially, operationally, all of it would be so much easier, but we're doing it now. And we've always said from the beginning that Farm to You isn't about us, it isn't about our farm or other farmers or certain customers. It's a mirror of the local community. It's not Yana and myself. That's the beauty of us focusing on the system, is that we're trying to make sure it's not gamed, that it's fair. It doesn't need a certain farm or family or group of people to work. And that's always been our focus. A flexible, working, adaptable, profitable, equitable system that does its intended function. So what part of this video is our announcement that we are fully willing and ready and able to wind down Farm to You at the end of July if we can't meet our targets. We can't do this anymore. In the beginning, Jan and I took on great losses in debt to make these stores work, so we could test the methods, measure the data, and show others that what we had in our heads was real. But we can't do that forever. There's no magic money fairy that we have access to, and we aren't wealthy. We started all of this with like $13,000 in savings. And so the years of 300% growth, multiple years in fact, that's really hard for people to do. You can go look it up, how hard it is. You've got a tiger by the tail, and managing that fast growth, most companies don't make it out of that. There's a reason why the small business failure rate is like 80% in the United States after 5 years, and we're still here. But we have no problem shutting it all down, selling everything off and making everyone whole through liquidation if enough farmers and customers can't come together to make it work. It sucks, but we knew that when we started, this was going to be hard, and we've been having these conversations with people. Some of them don't listen, some of them think we're not serious, but we knew the failure rate was going to be high in trying this, but we also didn't know it was going to grow this fast and do this well. There are some things that are easier than we thought it was going to be. But when the USDA, financial institutions, even local governments refuse to help, and in some cases go out of their way to ruin all the work so many farmers and others have put into Farm to You, we have to reassess whether continuing on is worth it. So part of continuing on is solving those problems. And so the new membership that we've built this year is the only way we see forward that makes it worth it. We need 1,000 members to be sustainable. That gets us to sales amounts where operations are profitable. Every one of you must contribute. At that level, you all make money. So it doesn't matter who is listening to this. You benefit when we hit that 1,000 members. We know that because we're basing it off of past data when the stores did well. There are now cards in the store, I wish I had one here with me, that everyone can use to hand out. And when I mention like a cohesive single message for everyone, this is what I'm talking about. A one way for us to build a repeatable cycle of getting members and getting new people in the store so that it grows. It doesn't stagnate like it did last year. These cards are designed, they look the same, they have slight differences depending on whether you're a member or you're a part of the general public or a regular customer. We're working on some that are specifically for farmers, some that are specifically for vendors and service providers. But they're something that you can give to people, you can hand it to them. And your job is to introduce, explain, and ask, and then follow up. You're going to introduce Farm to You when you hand someone this card. And you're going to explain why Farm to You is important to you, not to them, to you. And if you do know them well enough, you could explain how it's important to them, but they'll figure it out in the next step. But your goal is to get that card in their hands, tell them how important it is, and there's a QR code on there that they can scan, and it takes them to a web page. And so that way, We will then take over from there, and that page is designed to walk them through high level all the way down to granulars as they get further and further down the page. It's definitely a selling page. It's also a weeding out page, so that people who are just not a fit are going to pass, and then we don't have to deal with them. They can go do the things that they like to do. But people who do love Farm to You, and they're like, oh, as I read this more, as I watch the videos, as I see the testimonials from customers and the videos from farmers and the videos from staff about why they like working there, and then they see the FAQs and the membership info, then they get to decide whether it's important for them and whether they should come in or pre-register online or join online, and it's up to them. And then all you have to do is follow up and just make sure they've scanned that and they've gone to that page. That's all you need them to do. If you can get them to come in and shop and join as a member, that happens. Sometimes people come in and they're like, I talked to so-and-so, I'm here to sign up. And it's no friction. They already know why, they already know what for, they already know what they're getting into, and they just do it the second they walk in the door. So if you're able to do that, that's awesome. But if you can't, no big deal. Just get them to scan the card and understand how important it is to you. That's it. The deadline for trying to hit those 1,000 members is the end of July 2026. At that point, we're going to reassess things. And if we're not even close to the goal, then we're going to shut down. It's just not financially viable. It doesn't work. Because if the community and the farmers can't come together at this intersection that we created and perfectly designed to meet the two together, then it's just not worth our time anymore as the people who founded it. Because it's a tough road and we could keep going. Now that we've figured out this better system, we're just white financially. We have no more left. Yana's 401k is gone. All of our savings is gone. All of our credit cards are maxed out. This is it. So if this is important, even like 1% important to you, you need to get off your tushy and do something, because you can. It's designed that way. It's designed for you to be able to have an effect on your own destiny. Talk to anyone who will listen and sell them on Farm to You. If you need more cards or flyers, check with the stores. They will give you more. We will keep them coming. This is an aggressive approach, and we know that. Getting 1,000 people, because we're almost at 250 today when I'm filming this, so we're a quarter of the way there. So we have about 3 months to do this, and that's about 10 people a day. But with all the followers, we have 5,400 followers on Facebook. We have 250 members, and then a whole bunch of customers that aren't members, but they're in every day and even paying the 10% surcharge on top because they want the stores to be open. They just can't commit to the monthly. If all of those people just signed up one person, we'd be 5 times our goal. But we know that's not going to happen. But if each person that is really serious about this signed up 2 or 3, we'd be golden, we'd be good. And this would be a beautiful thing for people to see, and then we could take it to other places, open more stores. We're expecting everyone to pitch in. The stores are here, the math checks out. Membership at 1,000 is profitable and sustainable all year round, not just part of the year. Customers need to sign up, even if they aren't sure they'll use it all or worried there's not enough products. Because listen, I get that. I've been in places where you're like, oh, this may not be for me, but listen, the farmers aren't dumb. They're small businesses too. They will go where the money is. It happens every time. Anytime we've been on the news, been in a magazine, won an award, hit some milestone, had a big sales month, they show up. They show up in large numbers because they want to be where the money is. They want to be where the customers are. So a customer signing up, even if the store is only like 60, 70, 80% of what you expect it to be, going all the way and joining as a member is you waving the money in the air and saying, I'm here, I'm here. It's like in Horton Hears a Who when they're shouting, we are here, we are here, we are here. That is what you're doing. And so you need to do that. Farmers, you need to bring in the products and be on the ride with us. Yes, our same policy on payments applies that we've had for years. If it's slow, payments are slow. If it's busy, payments come fast because we need you to turn around and bring that stuff back in. And that's how it's worked every time. And so, those house rules are on the wall that says you're on the ride with us, applies to farmers just as much as it does to the consumers. We push that a lot on the customers because they're usually the pickier ones that, oh, well, we can't call and we can't see what's in the stores. And and we don't know what's available, well, they can't call a farmer's market and have holds or ask what's available either. So this is the same thing. So you got to come in and see what's locally available. So we've been telling the customers, you're on the ride with the farmers, but we also have to remind the farmers, you're on the ride with them too. So if you bring stuff in, that increases the customers that come up, because not all of them are just going to join because of the hope that they'll join and the money will go up and the stuff will show up the next week or the next month. So you bringing stuff in helps. That's why I say this is aggressive. It takes both sides. It's a double-edged sword. It's like a chicken and egg sort of thing. You can't just have a bunch of customers with no stuff on the shelf, but you can't have a whole bunch of stuff on the shelf with no customers. You got to kind of blend them all together and just keep pushing everyone from both sides to meet in the middle. Again, I'll say, we don't pay the farmers, the customers do. So meeting in the middle is how that transaction works. And going out there and telling them they need to go in and buy your stuff at Farm to You because it's easier for you, that's important. Just coming and dropping stuff off and taking your money, that's taking advantage of what we've built. You need to be out there telling customers, I sell to Farm to You. It's there 7 days a week, year round. You don't have to call me and text me and try to schedule a time with me and drive out to the country or wherever it is. You can just go to one of our stores. That's how simple we've made it. And everyone understands that concept of just walking into a store and shopping. So farmers bringing in more food gets more signups. Customers signing up brings in more farmers. Both sides have to do it. We've built the perfect two-way street scenario, but it doesn't work if one side is greedy or selfish or missing the entire point of what we've built. Both sides must contribute, and everyone wins when those two groups intersect. Farm to You is simply an intersection. You think of it like roads, two roads coming together, and we maintain the intersection and make sure the traffic signals are working properly, managing the flow of traffic both ways. But you guys have to do the driving. We can't drive your cars to the intersection for you. So whether you're a landlord or a service provider for us or a farmer or a customer, you have to be out there helping us get more members, because that's what pays you. That's where the money comes from. It comes from the customers. They have all of it. We have none. And on the payment guarantees, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, there's all this false information going around about payments to farmers, which is crazy because we are farmers and we're the ones that have been paid the least. We've lost over $800,000. I think we're probably close to $9 million at this point. And once we hit $1 million, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. So like, we've lost that much money building this for you. If you own a building or a farm, or if you're a shopper, this is built for you to make money. And us being here doing well makes you more money for a long time, because we've designed it to run a long time, as long as everyone comes together and realizes how important it is. So the payment guarantee, anyone watching this afraid to contribute because you're worried about losing money, don't. As always, we guarantee that all customers and vendors, we guarantee that all customers, I'm reading from my notes here, will get refunded any membership amounts if we close. So if you sign up for a membership today and then we don't hit our target, we totally miss it by the end of July, we're not just going to take your money and run. That's wrong, because your money is a credit in the store anyways, and so we'll refund it. It might take us a little bit because it depends on how fast we have to sell equipment and what we have in the bank, but we will do it because we're not dishonest people. And as always, we've done this for years, and it's amazing that there are farmers out there lying about what we do here. We guarantee that every single farmer with dropouts entered into our accounting system get paid, always. Even if we have to sell our farm to do it, they're all getting paid. So I don't know anyone else out there putting their entire real estate and land and value on the line to make sure farmers are getting paid, but I know it's not most of the people who are saying, what the things that they're saying. So we've always made that guarantee, and we are people who do what we say and say what we mean. So if you're worried about that, don't, because it's a waste of your energy. However, we don't want to sell the farm. We don't want to have to close down the stores and fire all the staff. We already had to do that in grants. It sucks. Anyone who's ever had to close down a business or fire people because sales are slow, you know how much it sucks. We prefer getting to 1,000 members. That's what we want. That's the whole point of this video, is to lay out what's going to happen if you don't, because it's important that you do. But getting those 1,000 memberships, you get paid more, longer, maybe forever. So, and if you're a customer, you're getting groceries, local, high quality ones, longer, forever, hopefully, because we designed a system that's supposed to work. We designed it to last without Yana and I. We run a self-management model, and once we become profitable, we intend to give the profits to the employees, and give them a share of the company, they've earned it. And they're on the front lines every day, talking with farmers, talking with customers. We couldn't do any of this without them, but we can't get there unless we're profitable and sustainable. And at 1,000 members, we should be able to do that. But people have to show up, customers, farmers, and all the providers. If we shut down Farm to You, everyone still gets paid, but it's just that one time. That's it. We'll sell everything and you're getting paid, but that's it. There's no more money coming. There's no more money ferry for you either, just like there's not one for us. So Farm to You is your money ferry. We've literally built it for you. We've lost a lot of money building you a money ferry, so take advantage of it. If you step up, push these amazing, beautiful, wonderful stores everyone has built, you and everyone who comes after you reaps the benefits of a community coming together. And that's the whole point of Farm to You, is that all of these sides come together and it works wonderfully for everybody. That's the entire way we wanted it to be. So for the future, a successful Farm to You means we accomplish the goals we've always been dreaming of since we started this. And we've talked about this in podcasts and interviews, and sometimes it gets lost in everything. But we've always wanted to create and save local jobs that people enjoy and get paid well at. So as the memberships go up, if you've seen our membership milestone poster in the stores, everyone's pay goes up $1 an hour every time we hit one of those milestones. We're just as I record this, we're I think 4 or 5 members away from them getting another $1 an hour. So that'll put the average at 17. We started at 12. I'm not kidding. A year or two ago, most people were making $12, $13, $14 an hour. Now everyone's at 16, about to make 17. And if we hit 1,000, they're all going to be at 20. So we're going to have this beautiful store that customers love, and it takes care of farmers, and the staff gets paid well. So no one's getting screwed. I don't know why you don't want to help build that system up. So it also helps farmers sell much easier than anywhere else. Because I've been there, and it's the whole reason we started the stores, because we ran into too many farmers who hated the markets and hated having to do that, and all the different rules and regulations and the red tape and the favoritism and waiting lists and all of that. It doesn't exist at Farm to You. They literally just drop off stuff, make high quality. We've even bought stuff from smaller farmers that was not the best quality, so we can at least get some money in their pocket, and then we can guide them, because some of our staff are actual farmers, and they can help them, teach them how to grow tomatoes that aren't cracked, so we don't have to worry about them splitting in the store and throwing them out to the pigs and chickens. And so we're really lenient on people dropping stuff off. You got to really mess up. One time we've had to return produce to somebody because it was just the worst we'd ever seen. And it's we're pretty sure it was days old. They tried to sell it several days earlier. And it's just crappy that people think that that's okay. But I get it. Sometimes people are desperate and they just need the money, but we're not a charity. We can't do that. If we were wealthy or there was a money ferry for us, then sure, maybe we could do that and help them through a tough time in learning how to farm better. But we've even done that. So Farm to You just helps so many farmers in a way that we don't see happening anywhere else. And if Farm to You succeeds, customers have a wider access to local foods in a convenient format from people and ingredients they trust. You can't get that at a regular grocery store. You can't even get that at the farmer's market. There's not a lot of trust there. There's a reason why some of our eggs have been sold at the downtown growers market, because those farmers go down to the small towns and buy out a bunch of stuff at cheaper price, and then they go and flip it at the bigger markets the next morning. I've seen it happen. I know for a fact it happens. So that's why we put the mileage label on the shelf, because it's tell them exactly where this came from and how many miles and what the name of the farm is and what the name of the family is that's there putting in the work. We thought that was important. For a consumer, we're just changing the game on trust and being able to know where your food is coming from. And one of our biggest things that I've talked about since day one when we started our old membership program, because we started that before we had stores. And who is in Belen. She's retired. She is our longest serving member. She's been a member since I think either late September or early October of 2021, I think. And so she's coming up on like 5 years. And so we've been doing a membership program since before we even had stores. We were still doing farmers markets, and customers would come here and get stuff directly from the farm mostly. But with that program, we wanted to take that recurring revenue that we get every month or week or whatever it was in that case and make a farmer basic income for those who meet certain qualifications. So they don't have to worry about finances in the off season or during crop losses, because our customers are coming in and they're committing that money every month and we can count on them. And so the farmers can count on them. And that's the whole point too of getting that membership high enough that we can turn around and do that. Because, you know, like I said, they're small businesses too, but farming was like, it's like 50% luck. We can't control pests and the weather and the rain and all those sorts of things. And then the economy. So being able to have customers that are willing to be on the ride with the farmer in the stores and make that monthly commitment is a big deal, because then we can turn around and make that commitment to the farmers that support that system. And so that's why, like, that's it's my biggest thing ever since from day one, why we started a membership in the first place. Even though people were like, oh no, people will take advantage and ruin it, which they didn't. That was wrong. Everyone's, other than like 3 families, have been really responsible with our old membership program, because there were, you know, they paid a flat fee and they just treated the stores like their pantry. And we would just advise them if they were being a little, you know, taking too much. And everyone was really responsible with that program. But it was kind of more complicated, and it was risky on our end, because then if people did abuse it to too high of a level, then obviously we're in. So, you know, you're either damned if you do, or damned if you don't. So that's why we like this membership more. It eliminates that portion, so it reduces our risk when it's more of like a store credit, with bonuses and discounts depending on the level that you do. So that's the end. We've built our part. Made our investment. The stores work. The rest we leave in your hands. You, no matter who it is that's watching this, whether it's a customer, landlord, the people who bring us our linens here at the commercial kitchen on the farm, all of those people have the power to make a better food economy. It's just whether or not you'll seize it, because we've done all the work. Our staff is there every day, year round. They've been doing it, and they love what they do. So now it's us to tell you, how much in effort are you going to put in? Because we've put in an immense amount of effort and money and time and resources over the past 6 years getting to this point. And so now it's up to you. Thank you for listening. I know it's kind of long, but it's really important to us. And it's all in your hands, and we will see you out there. Thank you.